You are listening to a Dynamicworksproductions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, author, podcaster, and gamer, Tim K. Trotter. Joining me from the screen green room.
Mm-hmm. Green screen room?
Yeah, the green screen room.
Yes.
The only Nate Fu.
The scream room apparently is the room behind me.
Yeah. we did cut in. And they were screaming. I was like, "Do we need to stop?"
No,
like,
no. The show
keep going. Just go.
Show must
just go.
On. The wife has my daughters and my niece, so it's 3 versus 1.
Yikes!
They've been out in the heat all day, so they came in. They've had too much screen time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good luck. Wish her luck. She may be sticking her head in the door sometime during the episode here, like she is known to do.
Fair enough. Little bit of housekeeping. Once again, last episode, Tim got new microphones set up. Used new microphones set up. The post was not great. I have endeavored to do better this time, though we had all of the technical. Well, I had all of the technical difficulties right before we hit record, as there was a lack of sound.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the worst kind of problem.
Nothing
and
like,
we'll probably
like
get into it in
inbound phone call, and it's like, oh, it's not even lighting up the edges of the screen to say that something is coming through.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, there's just a babble of stuff going on in the world, so we're gonna spin and see where the night takes us. All right, fire. Life stories. So, what do we got?
We've got UFOs.
Are we doing that in life stories? Or are we doing that? Because where does that go? That's the real question.
Right? I think that kind of goes into life stories because we don't know what has come of it yet, so it can't really quite be tech. It's definitely not gaming.
Sure. Well,
until, of course,
except that we know there's reverse engineering that has been occurring for multiple decades.
Right, but until we get confirmation of that, it's still just a life story. It'll be gaming when we're playing Armada or Last Starfighter with, said alien invaders. I guess it could be entertainment because it is kind of entertaining.
We're talking about it now, so I guess we're talking about it. So the U.S. government said in a Congress thingamajig earlier this week that they are in possession of non-human bodies and have been undergoing a multi-decade reversing of technology that they have acquired from not this planet.
Right.
And
how do you feel about that, Tim?
The USA as a whole went, hey, government just confirmed aliens are real. and nobody fucking cares.
Right? Everyone was like, cool. We
Meanwhile,
kind of figured that, but
on every fucking major news outlet, not in the US of A on the planet, from Canada to BBC to whatever, Australia to New Zealand and all that stuff, they're going, what in the fuck?
right.
Like, what?
Yeah, not a single person in the US, especially in the more rural Midwest areas, is surprised by this news at all, I guess.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
apparently we've been seeing Tic Tacs and UFOs and
Tic
whatever you want to
Tacs.
call them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We made movies about
UAFs and
yeah, UAPs
all kinds of stuff.
now.
UAPs, whatever the fuck they're calling it now.
Right.
I'm still going to call them UFOs until such time as they have been given a official something.
All things considered, why? Why are they not like? What is the reason for the change? Like, I understand, there's a whole Carlin skit about how they've softened things. Like, the shell shock became post-traumatic stress disorder. He did a whole skit on it, how it had got softened over the years. But I mean, unidentified flying. So what, does it not have wings, so it can't be flying? Is this an unidentified hovering object? Like,
I don't know.
It's descriptive enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
unidentified aerial phenomenon. Just okay. I guess you can now rejigger. What do they call that? SEO. Search engine optimization.
Search engine optimization,
right?
For that? Okay, yeah, I don't know.
New hashtag for. Oh wait, it's not Twitter anymore.
Holy shit, does that make me mad? That's what I woke up to this morning.
Yeah, me too.
I realized it hit Android like earlier in this week, but
no, well, I mean, it did, but it didn't. It went full-fledged. Yeah, either this morning or yesterday morning. When I was like, when I opened up my phone and I'm like, why do I have 27 missed calls? Because the missed call icon is an X.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, it's like half X, half with an arrow on it. But at first glance, the new Twitter logo is also an X.
Cool. We'll dig into all that in technology.
But yeah, UAPs.
Yeah. So I guess here's maybe a good way to tackle this. How did you feel about the hypothetical existence of aliens and like fiction and X-Files and stuff before this week? And how do you feel about it now?
I mean, really, no different. Like, when it comes to the whole alien stories, people are, do you believe in aliens? I am not so arrogant to think that in the vastness of this universe that we are the only intelligent life forms out there. So the existence of alien life forms doesn't shock me at all. Why they would come here baffles me. And if they can get here,
well, as
if they can get here, and if rumors and conspiracy theories have said that they've been coming here for a while, and pyramids and et cetera, and all that, the hell we gonna do about it if it's true?
Probably not much, right? Because like, what's the thing? Neil deGrasse Tyson's talked about this, as has many other scientists, right? It's like you're going to have three types of things that could hypothetically occur in a first contact, or in this case, last to know about it contact type scenario. They're hostile and they're more advanced than us, and we're fucked.
Well, the second part of that is a given.
Independence Day, a la parts of X-Files and
War of the Worlds,
Signs, and War of the Worlds, and all the
Mars
things.
Attacks, and
another possibility is that
We'll be joining the Federation of Planets, whether we like it or
Yeah,
not.
we'll be joining the Federation of Planets, whether we like it or not. And they've been biding their time because, like Star Trek, we're pre-warp.
Right. They have a prime directive.
We're fucking dumb to them. You know, or the other thing that has been tossed out in various science fiction things is whatever they are, whether they have a body or they don't or whatever. Although I guess the government said non-human bodies, so I guess that basically says they have a physical form.
Sure.
You know, but they could be, you know, they could be an android race, they could be, you know, whatever, or they could be I guess the third thing I was getting at was kind of a an arrival type situation where we have no means of communicating and they have no means of communicating.
Mm-hmm.
And we're aware of each other's existence, but not fucking sure what to do about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They're
you know,
well more advanced than we are, but the universal translator hasn't come to fruition.
Sure. Or it could also be that plus, hey, we're a pit stop and they ran out of gas and fuck. Or whatever. I don't know. Right. You know, we don't know.
And let's hope it wasn't that, that planet looks like somewhere we could live.
Right.
Right? Because, I mean, that's kind of all of our exploits into space have been kind of along that scheme, whether we want to admit it or not. It's like, hey, can we live on another rock that's not this one because we're screwing this one up?
Sure. You know, I don't know. So for myself, and I've probably stated this on the show before, but I'll state it again in a unit of time. You know, I have had nightmares about some form of alien abduction or invasion pretty much my whole fucking life.
Okay.
And
you don't want to get poked in the pooper.
I don't know about that. I think it's more along the lines of a I don't know. At the very least, my dreams are fucking terrifying.
Sure.
You know, and so like X-Files and you know, the movie Signs and things like that. Like the sci-fi nerd in me loves those so much.
Mm-hmm.
But then the inner dream fear is like that is peak horror for me. that is peak absolute.
that is fucking, not yeah. You don't need those memories reinforced.
Sure. And so when this news happened, and I think I was one of the few people pointed out a couple of years ago when the Canadian government were like, yeah, UFOs are real, aliens are real, there's several races, and this is what they are. You know, and it's like, oh shit. You know, that has, I guess, more significance now because, all right, so our government's saying something to that effect. Canadian government said much more many, many years ago. Right. So now it's like, I think, I guess at this point, it's like, well, like I'm just kind of like running, I guess I'm running the sci-fi scenarios. Like, it's like, okay, sure. Well, we haven't been enslaved. So they're probably not hostile.
Right.
At least yet.
They haven't melted anyone.
Right. Or at least.
At worst, we've heard they've, probed our butts and stolen our cows.
Mm-hmm. I guess. Oh, God. What was that other movie? It came out last year. Nope.
Oh, I didn't see that one, but yeah.
Yeah, that one was really... that one was terrifying with a different spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I encourage people to to check that out. At the very least, it adds some good science fiction behind. Well, why the fuck would they take cows?
It almost 100% confirms at this point that the Men in Black are real.
That's true.
So
I saw a super cut of all of the recent like the last 4 administrations of US presidents. They're on like various comedy talk shows, and they're all asked, like, so, oh, congratulations on winning the race, and so how about them aliens? What happened? And I think Clinton said something to the effect of like, yep, can't talk about it. And then Bush said, George W. Bush said something effective like, yeah, there's a briefing. I was like, nope, that's going with me to my grave. I was like, okay. And then I saw there was 2 with Obama on the first time when he took office, and he was just like, I was like, couldn't say or whatever. And then after office, and they're like, and he's like, well, like there's lots of different programs and stuff. And then I think it was Kimmel, and he's kind of badgering him a bit. And then Obama kind of just like sighed and was like, that's what the briefing tells us to say.
Right. No one has ever said no.
And I still remember there was one time with Trump in regards to aliens where he was about to say something, and then somebody whispered something in his ear, and then he just walked off stage, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. My mind runs the sci-fi scenario. So it's like, okay, well, so maybe they're here and we've had contact with them. And maybe it is a Roswell situation where it's like they crashed, they're dead. We have those bodies, we have those ships or whatever, and that's what there is, apart from there's been some other visitors and we're too low tech to do shit about it. Right.
Yeah, who's to say the other visits were same people, like recovery mission, or if that was a different species that was just like, hey, go check out these ants over here on the ant farm.
Yeah, exactly. Or it could be a more insidious X-Files type route where we've already been hybridized with the alien overlords.
Do I have to get a special pair of sunglasses to see the propaganda and the aliens in existence?
I don't know, maybe.
Am I going to have to get into an 8-minute brawl with you to put the sunglasses on?
An 8-minute brawl?
You've seen the movie They Live, right?
They Live? No.
Yeah, that would be why you don't understand the reference.
Okay.
Go watch it sometime. Enough. It's a cult classic. Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Okay. Well,
it'll tickle that sci-fi funny bone of yours.
Okay. But I mean, that's the thing, though. If it's a sci-fi funny bone, maybe it's not so funny anymore. Because it's like, well, okay.
Oh, it's especially
would this not
explain where we're at now? So it actually might
would
be
this
a good
not
time
explain like fucking Elon Musk or other people?
Go watch it. It's especially prescient now, considering everything.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And anyone in our audience that has seen it is looking, going, "Oh God, no." So
yeah, I have no frame of reference, so I guess
that is a scenario, and to add to the pile.
Well, I for one, and actually, you know what I should have done for this episode? I do have it in my closet. I should have worn my X-Files I Want to Believe shirt. I have that shirt.
Okay.
That's what I'll.
I have Samurai Cat. That's what I have.
Yeah, you have a Samurai Cat, and I have a
Delta.
I have just a
United Airlines.
I don't know. It's the sleep shirt that has some spaghetti stains further down.
It's a good thing we're not doing this live.
Right. Um. So yeah, I think the one thing that I've been coming to, after all this information that's been bouncing around for a week, is honestly just a touch bit of relief.
Sure.
Be honest.
Sure.
There's just a touch bit of relief. It's like, okay, we know this. Obviously, if you want to go the conspiracy theory route, if the government's to be believed, right?
Right.
Um. So yeah, I don't know,
I mean,
but
like, this is going to be a weird sideways one of these Nate, corollaries that just goes off on a deep cut. But it's kind of like you've always suspected that your significant other's been cheating on you. And it's like, you've got all these things, these signs, and you're watching movies that talk about it, and all this stuff exists in the media, and you're like, but what if? And then you finally found out that you did. And while you're mad about it, you're kind of like, well, at least I wasn't crazy.
Fair. Yep. No, that's fair.
Right?
That's really fair. I think me and Mike List even had an episode where we talked about,
I believe so,
UFO conspiracies and stuff. A really old one, like way back,
because
he's super into that stuff.
Yeah, if it wasn't here, it was on his other one that I've heard him go into conspiracy theories.
It could have been. Mm-hmm.
So.
So yeah, I mean, I guess. Well, and I have a theory that's not based on any sci-fi stuff. This is just in my own headcanon, or my own authorness, as you will, is okay. They're here. They know about us. They could nuke us at any time, but we make a lot of fucking like media, and maybe, just maybe, that stuff has been so homogenized elsewhere in the galaxy, and we're just like the fucking Truman Show planet,
right?
And they're like, yeah, no, we need you to have CGI, so here's some fucking CPUs or whatever. You guys can tinker around with that for a while. But, make more of those Marvel movies.
Right.
Like, I need season 19 of Desperate Housewives or whatever the fuck. So if anything, if the alien apocalypse
media, right? Tune in.
Right, exactly. We're the media right now.
Friday night or whatever day they use, and watch what the humans do.
Well, when you said that reminded me of Men in Black, and it was like we're on Centauri time, and that's a 48-hour day. Yeah.
So aliens.
Well,
I'm waiting for the full declassification of that, and then I'll be like, cool. I mean, if anything, that in and of itself is just interesting as fuck to me. Good, bad, and different.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I guess to pull it away from UFOs for a minute, since we're in life, how are things with you?
I'm going a little bit crazy. I know I've been mentioning this whole night shift thing for a while now, because I'm just kind of prepping everyone for you remember doing casts when I was up wide awake on Saturday night at 9:00, because that was when I was supposed to get up and go to work. Well, delays and a bad ordered part has now pushed that back from anywhere from 2 to 10 weeks.
Jesus.
Right. They couldn't narrow it down. It's like waiting for the cable guy to show up on, Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen at this point. And, again, as far as the cast's concerned, all it's going to mean is I'm going to be bright and squirrely while you're, dying at the mic. But
classic.
Yeah.
You're a longtime listener. You've listened to it before, folks.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's just like we're, the life side of it is everyone else in my household, the kids, the wife, the sister-in-law, the brother-in-law, everyone else who's, the village, as it were, are also trying to plan around this because it's going to, where I fall into the parenting side and the raising of the kids, that's going to take a little bit of a different look too.
Right.
Right. Because I'll be sleeping when they're supposed to be, when they're awake, and it messes up the weekends, and um, how I survive that has always been interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
So
absolutely.
But yeah, so it just throws everyone, and they were dead set because we were told it was supposed to happen August 7th, which is right when they go back to school. So they had been planning and scheming, and they're like, "Oh," and I let them know. I was like, "Nope, it's off for a while ish," and they're like, "When?" I'm like, "Don't know." So it's just throwing everything for a loop. So they're probably going to operate as if I was, because it really doesn't change things for me that much.
Okay.
But yeah, it just, again, it's just screwy. When your regular daily schedule gets, flipped on its ear.
Yeah.
Fan here.
I've been slammed work wise. So my video game time has been much lighter than it has been the past few months. Which sucks because to my frustration, I haven't like pulled anything. It started when I slept weird, but I slept weird like last Monday, and then like my neck like locked up on Tuesday, and it hurt so bad. Like I basically called out, and I was like, "This is fucked." And I decided to try to tough and bear it for far too long. But I was in a lot of pain, and I got one of those cervix, like the thing that like goes around your neck, and they're like
the neck donut, yeah.
3 neck donuts, and you pump a little thingy to try to help with the neck. I did a bunch of that. Then saw my chiro, and then fixed the neck thing, and then about 2 days after that, now my left shoulder has completely shit the bed. To the point where I even like cried a foul on Friday. I was like, "Yo, doc, we gotta fucking fix this. What the fuck is going on?" And so I'm gonna go, fortunately, Monday evening after work, to go take a look at that. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with me, other than I'm just decaying before our listeners' ears at a rapid pace. Fucking sucks. I don't like it. Though I do have a note in Life Stories that said I was supposed to remind you to ask me about my chiro.
Yes.
This week. Yeah, so aside from all of that pain, they had their cervix pump thing too, and they wanted me to do that after the adjustment. And I was the last customer, end of the day. They'd closed up shop, and the fuck, why can't I think of the word? Lady at the desk.
Receptionist?
The front desk lady. Yeah, the receptionist. She usually comes over, puts it on. She comes over, puts it on. We have some difficulty putting it on because I haven't put on their one in years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm expecting her to stop pumping the air at some point.
Gotcha.
And so I'm sitting there, and she's just pumping away, and I'm about to say something, but then I realize that it's too tight, and so I can't even move my jaw. And so I'm just like, and she looks down and she's like, "Oh no, I was supposed to I'm so sorry." I was like, joking.
Jeez. And that was the last time you went to that chiropractor.
No. No, I like my chiropractor a lot. This is just the front desk lady.
Gotcha.
And then I actually thought it was funny, to be honest. Like I was after
Well, I'm glad you could find the
getting
humor in
air.
getting, strangulated.
Yeah, I was laughing about it, which made her laugh about it. So everybody was good, you know. And then when I checked out, and I was like, okay, cool. This is the next normal appointment. And then I was like, and you know, there's no like co-pays or anything like outstanding because you know I don't want to get choked again. She's like, oh my god.
Oh man. All right. Give me a minute. I gotta boop boop from the wife.
Do a thing. Okay. Nate is doing a thing. As I continue to talk,
I'm doing things.
Chagrin. He's getting up from the chair. His green screen is waving. He's flipping me off. Classic. Absolutely classic. So, hopefully we have this microphone dialed in. I'm a little bit concerned. I bumped I turned the knob here, hoping that was going to be my volume. I don't think it is. I think I accidentally fucked with the gain, which may have just fucked with everything overall. I mean, we'll see here. We'll see. Because I have a digital peak meter, which looks a little peaky right now. And I've got the new meter that's built into the mic here. I just don't know if I'm in range. And like, what happens? You know, what happens if I get excitable? Like, is this going to really fuck the audio? Because I don't want to fuck the audio. I would ideally, you know, like to, I'm going to turn this knob down a smidge. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And hopefully fucking everything is just okay on this goddamn recording. So, and I'm actually, you know what? He's been gone a while. I'm gonna fucking spin the ring and we're gonna move on. All right, we have landed on air. Video games. Okay, cool. So we're talking video games. All right, so handful of things going on in the video game world. The Activision Blizzard sale to Microsoft has gone through. There's some shit going on in the UK. They have filed an extension until sometime in October. So while things are being passed here in the US, and pretty much that weekend when they passed, people saw Call of Duty servers come back online and all kinds of stuff happen on Xbox at any rate. So that's cool, I guess, if you're, you know, a fan of those things. So for me, I have been not playing a ton. Actually, the first time I played with my PSN boys was last night. Did a little bit of Siege, did a little bit of Naraka. Wasn't good at either because I basically haven't played in 2 weeks. But in the interim, when I do steal minutes away, I've been playing a decent amount, mostly because it's the only thing I have fucking time for in between, you know, shits on the toilet and other stuff. I've been going back to the so far always good to go back to Honkai Star Rail, or Honky Star Rail as we call it here. And then I've been replaying Pikmin 2, which has been very frustrating. I actually just beat it before I got on the cast here. I forgot how nightmarishly difficult that game gets in the end. And Nate has sat back down.
I'm assuming we rolled
See,
video games.
I can, yes.
Okay.
I can see that, see the little black parts of his little bitty eyes and the convexness of his lenses of his glasses. Now he's looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about, Tim?
I have no idea, Tim.
I attempted to vamp solo. It didn't go well. Thanks for coming back.
You're welcome.
We're on video games.
Yes, I kind of when I walked back in, because I turned the external speakers up a little bit so I could at least monitor what's going on. I came back in to hear Pikmin. I'm like, oh, we roll video games.
Yeah. So I had just said, just beat Pikmin 2 again. Forgot how mind-numbingly difficult that game gets in the end, considering its age. I have not played Pikmin 4 in any way, shape, or form, despite the fact that I pre-ordered it and I own it and it's downloaded and it's ready to go. I think at this point, since I did 1 and 2, I'm just going to replay 3 quickly and then just be all Pikmin'd up. But in terms of new games that I did play, I finally got around to starting Atomic Heart.
Okay.
Which, for those who don't know, is it's BioShock plus Russians plus Westworld. That's what this game is.
Okay.
And it's pretty good at being BioShock, actually. It's pretty dang good. The combat's extremely satisfying. The super definitely odd from an American standpoint to be playing in a alternate 1950s Soviet Russia that won all the wars and is the dominant superpower in the world. And like, it's interesting because like they have like stuff in the game that talks about like alternate history things about like, oh, when insert unpronounceable Russian name here and invented silicon. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. You know? But so basically it's an interesting game in that it's BioShock, but then it's also a little bit
not
Far Cry.
Yeah.
And it oscillates between those two because basically the opening like 10 hours, it's straight BioShock. You know, it's corridors, you have linear objectives, you know, you're solving some puzzles, you have they don't call them plasmids, they call them polymers in this one.
Okay.
You know, you're doing stuff with a freezy hand and a shock hand, and then you have like a cool like gel bubble shield thing that you can do to take damage and stuff in and whatnot. But then once you get out of that, it opens up into like this is going to be an odd comparison, but it's going to open up into kind of like, it's not a huge open world, but it's an open world that feels very curated in almost, it's going to be weird for me to say, but that's the vibe I'm getting, in almost a Halo Infinite kind of way.
Okay.
Where it's like, okay, much smaller open world, but much more curated and specific and stuff.
A little more on rails.
I mean, yes and no. So that's where
that, not that it's a bad thing.
Like, that's where a good comparison actually to Halo Infinite is, where it's like, okay, you have a big overworld or a decent size overworld, but it's not insane. It's not Legend of Zelda. It's not Red Dead Redemption. It's not Grand Theft Auto or anything like that.
Right.
You know, and then you go to these areas that then pull you back down into a corridor shooter with objectives and stuff.
Gotcha.
Which is very much what Halo Infinite does. So it's like
Right. Very
kind of
much, what
Halo.
Destiny does.
No, I wouldn't say that. I don't agree with that statement at all. What? You're waving papers at me.
Sorry, fly.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Again, every episode? We're going to have to give you a bug zapper so we can just hear zap, 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 like on air. That's what we need.
Oh, yeah. Do it. Do it. I'll put in one of those little bulbs. I'll put it right here.
Yeah, exactly.
On camera. That'll be my streaming career. I won't even stream video games. I'll just have a picture of that fucking light bulb.
Oh yeah, you'll just do the whole thing, like hot tub streaming or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying Atomic Heart when I get the chance to play it. Not super far in. I mean, I don't particularly know how far I am in it per se. The things that I'm enjoying are the enemies are really unique looking. Like, sure, they have like humanoid looking robots and stuff, but then there'll be like a fucking flying blender that's got like a laser penis, and it's like, what the fuck is that shit? There's a weird vending machine that wants to rape you. That's not a joke. she's oh man. There's like weird like roller holy tank things, like some kind of something. I don't know how to describe it. The art design's out there. It feels very unique, which is cool. And they have like floating cities, and they have this weird like gel shit that's like everywhere. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, if somebody like flash froze water as it was like moving, but then like as a player you can like swim in it even though it's not suspended by anything. So there could be like, just as an example, this is a very basic example, it goes weirder than that. Like, you could be in the open world and there's like a hotel, and it's like, okay, you go around the hotel looting the hotel for supplies and whatnot, but the hotel's like half caved in on one side and you can't get to it from the inside, but from the outside there's like a weird worm of
jello
clear stuff,
okay,
that you can then like swim into to like go into it. It almost feels like like an unused Portal game mechanic.
Okay. The snot mechanic? Yeah.
Yeah, the snot mechanic, yes. But yeah, so far I'm having a really good time. The music is fantastic. It's a mix of some Russian composers I've never heard of, because the game is inherently Russian developed. The legendary Mick Gordon, actually, and a YouTuber who I've followed for a long time called GF Day, who basically he's done doom metal covers for like other video games.
Okay.
And it earned him enough notoriety that Mick Gordon hired him. He's like, yeah, no, you get it. Come work with me on stuff. And I was actually very pleased that the first major boss fight, which has a super fucking rockin' heavy metal fucking epic score to, was not Mick Gordon at all. It was Jeffrey Days when I looked on the soundtrack, and I was like, man, good for you, dude. Fucking so good, I can't even tell when it's not Mick Gordon. Yeah, so the music has a really cool, it oscillates between, like BioShock did that thing where they had like all like the like classic like 1950s tunes, which I guess Fallout did too. And so they have those too, but they're the Russian ones. So I have like have like weird, like I know this song, but I don't know this song
No,
type.
they're almost like
Like
covers, but
they are the covers.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then that's juxtaposed with like some really cool, like haunting synth music stuff for like the ambience and the world and stuff, and some of the story stuff. And then juxtaposed again to like pulse pounding, like rock, like pulse synth guitar stuff for like when the action like heats up a lot. Um, but yeah, it's very interesting. It's on Game Pass, which is where I'm playing it. I think it actually has an expansion coming out next month too.
Of course it does.
I mean, sure. It's a good looking game. It's on Unreal Engine 4. Like they clearly I looked at the developers list, like they haven't done a ton of games. Like this is like a really big swing for them.
Mm-hmm.
Or swing for them. I think though, like there are definitely like what I'll say about it so far is it feels like, in comparison, like everybody knows Bioshock's very polished, some people have tried to ape it before, yada yada yada. It's definitely a Bioshock type game, but it's like, like if Bioshock's like a 10, right? Like this is like an 8.8 Bioshock, if that makes any sense. Like I thoroughly enjoy the combat. I think the combat is probably one of the best things that it has going for it. The guns feel really good. The powers feel really good. The upgrades feel really cool. It has one of the coolest looting mechanics I've ever seen in a video game. So like in the game, you have like this like robot glove that has like tentacles that come out of your palm. And so you hold like right bumper over stuff and your tentacles like whip out and like grab the shit from like drawers in the ground and stuff.
Interesting.
And it's kind of super satisfying.
In that, it feels useless until you look at it on a possible VR context.
Sure. Right? Yeah, I could totally see that have been a VR imagined or something like that.
Does that make super, super perfect sense in that context? Because, obviously hand controls and whatnot, short
yeah,
of...
I mean, from a
most things don't actually scan your fingers. Yes, I know Apple's doing it. Shut up.
I wasn't even going to go there.
I expected you to. But yeah, if you're going to using some sort of a wand or joystick type controller, that's a perfect instance for you to have like, oh, okay, I just go near it and go, hell yeah.
I mean, the difference from a practical gameplay sense is like, okay, if we're comparing this to like Bioshock or like Fallout or something, it's like, okay, you're pointing your cursor, you're hitting X on the drawer, you're hitting take all, or hitting take one item, versus this, you're pointing your cursor and holding right bumper, and it's just ripping everything out and putting it into your inventory.
Right.
Like that's, from a function standpoint, that's really all it's doing. It just looks cool.
Sure.
And it's kind of satisfying because it's got like this like low sub bass, like like thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So what I mean by, it's like a lower scored Bioshock is like it's not perfect. Even though I'm playing it, it came out I think March of this year, so it's had tons of patches, I'm sure, to squash any whatever. Like the first thing I noticed, like it has a really elaborate opening cutscene, and it's like everything looks beautiful, lots of cool characters, very Bioshocky. And then there's a point where the main character gets a soda from a floating vending machine, and he pours his glass full of soda, and then because it's first person, he goes to put it up into his mouth, and you're looking through the glass, except that there's literally they didn't bother to render the bottom of the glass, so it's just a tube.
Okay.
And it's like okay. And honestly, that kind of sets pretty good expectations for the rest of the game, because they shot for the moon. They hit a lot of the things that they are trying to achieve, but it's not perfect. Like for example, when I got to the open world and they're like, hey, go to fucking this park thing, PF4 or whatever the fuck, and go do this thing here. And I'm just like, how do I do that? And you open your map and you're like, this map doesn't tell me shit. I don't know where that is. I guess I'll wander this fucking direction, and then get murked by some fucking crazy fucking robot. Like they have like weird, like I said, the enemy design is really cool. So like I'm very cautious. Like I'll be going along these like weird landscapes that are like vaguely 1950s, but also kind of Westworldy. And I'll be like, "Ooh, what's that?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's like a lawn trimmer thing. Oh, it has saw blades. Oh no, it's coming towards me and it's trying to eat me now. Okay, fucking damn it."
I mean, you sold me. It's in my install queue because it is on Game Pass.
Yes, it is.
So.
I'd say another thing that it does super well. It has really clever puzzles, like really cool, unique puzzles that actually give it a bit of a Portal vibe at times.
Okay.
Because like they're logic puzzles, but they're presented in a way that like I wouldn't have expected, especially from this game, from basically an unknown developer.
Mm-hmm.
So like just an example of some of the puzzles, like so there's like a lock puzzle that has like this like round thing with like a bunch of lights on it, and there's beeping time to like a time thing, and that you have like green and red lights, and then when it beeps on the right red light, you can hit A to turn it green, but then the tempo speeds up as the lights like going around this circle thing.
Okay.
I realize that probably sounds confusing, but
it does.
it makes sense when you do it. And then there's other puzzles like locks solved with like a laser grid, like routing power. There's like another one where I was like levitating a ball through some tubes that was like a 3D like actual, like I'm moving my character around, but I'm like holding this ball, like dragging it through this tube. Because you also have like a levitation pickup thing, like a poor man's gravity gun,
yeah,
kind of thing. Or another one which I just did was like magnet rooms where like the ceiling and the floor are polarized with like different platforms, and so you like hit them with your electricity power, and then you reverse the polarity which changes the design of the room. So you're like flipping back and forth between design, which actually, I guess now that I think about it, feels kind of vaguely Zelda-ish. But to that end, I do think their puzzles are really well made. But to that end, either I've been working too much or the puzzles are a bit too clever for me, because there's been more than a handful of times, and I'm like not even 20 hours in this game, where I'm just like, I don't fucking know what the fucking solution to this fucking puzzle is. I'm gonna fucking look it up.
Well, again, kind of like Portal. There's been times when I was playing Portal where I'm just like, I got to do what with what? How do I even get it over there?
I mean, I'm not going to brag, but I did both Portal 1 and 2.
I eventually did too, but there was a couple of rooms there where I'm just like, I don't know how the F, and then it took a lot of time of going back and forth, especially with the when they started doing put the batteries in the wall to turn on the door kind of thing, and you had to juggle those. Great mechanic. Holy crap.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing Atomic Heart. I'm enjoying it, but there's definitely things that are rough around the edges.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the screenshots of it, and it's like it's not the most beautiful game, but it's definitely interesting.
I think it has really strong art design.
Sure.
And like when you're playing it, it's like, apart from like like I said, the glass and like a couple of things where it's just like, oh, that looks like they didn't put a lot of work into that piece of geometry or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has a very cool aesthetic art design, in my opinion.
Oops.
Something that I don't like about the game is, so there's a lot of story as to be expected in a BioShock type thing. I'm 12, maybe 15 hours in. I don't know if it's good or not. And what I mean by that is, I don't know why I'm doing the things that I'm doing other than to save Russia.
Okay.
And the main character is hyper verbal. Like at first it's kind of cute, but then it's also not.
Right. It gets
So like,
old so quick.
well, it's so weird because the rest of the dialogue in the game is like, it sounds smart. It's not cohesive enough for me to tell if it is smart or not. But then your main character, like there's a thing early on where your main character, who's talking to his little like AI robot companion person, and you've got to get like 3 fucking keys basically to get through this thing, and your main character is literally like, man, why do I have to get these 3 fucking keys in this fucking place doing all this fucking stuff? And I was like, Jesus Christ, like it's either juvenile or it's 90s. Like sometimes it's funny, like sometimes it's, but then other times it's like not, because like
Sure.
when I say he's hyperverbal, I mean like I feel like like they don't, like your characters or your AI dude or somebody, like there's always fucking dialogue happening.
Right. He's your veritable
which is a
Jar Jar
little
Binks,
much.
right? Just always talking, no matter what.
Yeah. I will say the voice acting is good. The voice acting is rock solid. Like no problem with like the performances or like the delivery. It's just like the writing or the quantity of it is questionable.
Right.
But at the very least, like if you can look past that, the music's fucking dope. The aesthetics are cool. The puzzles are neat. And the gameplay is good. So, give it a whirl.
Okay.
But that's all I've had a chance to dig into in these past 2 weeks, which is not much.
Right.
Really, it was doing Pikmin today, and I played Atomic Heart.
Hey, at least you've been
Last
doing
weekend.
a fair share of gaming. Like my nice
I would not say it was fair.
my nice overpowered PC is basically a podcast machine at this point. Every 2 weeks, and occasionally I come in here and check an email or two. Most of my gaming has been um, like daily puzzle type games on my phone. I have now 3 that I go through. Obviously, I'm still doing Wordle every day.
Still doing Wordle.
Oh yeah, still
Okay.
doing Wordle. It's a one and done thing. I get in there, I get it done, I knock it out. And then kind of along that same line, I've picked up another game called Everyday Games. It's from a publisher or called Fanity,
Okay.
and it also has a little daily. You can keep playing games, but it does have a daily thing, and it does a crossword, a mini crossword, a word search, a Sudoku, what they call a hashtag. It's like basically it's letters laid out in a hashtag symbol, and you got to move them around. You have X amount of moves to solve all 4 words.
Okay.
It has almost it has a Wordle game in it, and then another one that's a clatter, where you start with one word and you have to turn it into another word. So you like the first word is seat and the last word is cart, and you
Okay.
have to one letter at a time change seat to cart.
I see.
Yeah, So it's good little thing that I kind of get and keeps my brain going. Um, so yeah, I do my Wordle. I do that one. There's 8 dailies. And then a new game I found out from listening to a different podcast. Um, also another daily one is a little game called Coffee Golf.
Coffee golf.
Coffee
Okay.
Golf. Um, and it's a new course a day. Your
Okay.
object is to get the ball in, and it's golf, as few strokes as possible. But instead of it being like a course where you have hole 1, hole 2, hole 3, hole 4, you have 5 holes on the course. You can tackle
Okay.
them any way you want to. You can go from, and they're basically 5 different colored flags. So you could
Okay.
start, if you want, start blue flag, then go to red flag, then go to green flag, then go to yellow flag, then go to purple flag. And
Okay.
it's just, it's good, just brainless fun. Again, I sit on my little 10-minute break at work, and I can fire up a game of coffee golf. It's named that because the developer was
By
like,
Shallot Games.
Shallot Games.
Kind of cute, low poly
Very low poly.
art.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see if that's
Fair
Shallot
enough.
Games. Yeah, and it's
I
just
will give it a
it's just
go.
a little dumb fun. You get through it. It's sounds like a golf course. You hear little birds chirping. You get 3 clubs, a driver, a wedge, and a putter.
Okay.
Um, and yeah. So those are the games I've been playing. That one I actually paid for the ad-free version because then you can just keep replaying holes. Because
Mm,
every now and then, that driver, man, you think you have it aimed and it goes the wrong way, like not grossly, like
sure.
just 3 degrees off.
Fair enough.
And 3 degrees off could mean a tree or water.
Fair enough.
So yeah, so those are the games I've been playing. I've been staring at other stuff on my computer when I get to come in here, and I don't have to kill flies.
Mm,
And my girls don't want me to fire up My Singing Monsters, because it seems like if I do get a chance to sit down and hear a game, they're like, "You're playing My Singing Monsters, right?" I'm like, "Okay, let me go turn that damn thing on." And another one, if you have kids, folks, it's a good little dumb fun game, and it'll teach them patience, or it'll teach them to spend your money.
um,
What's that?
Automatoys. You
Automatoys?
heard, yeah, have you heard of this game? Automat Toys.
No.
So I stumbled across it actually 4th of July, I believe.
Is
Wait,
this
4th of July?
is this an iPhone only?
I don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. I've had it for
I'll
a
have to
while.
find out.
I don't remember if I've talked about it on the show. But the gist of Automatoys is there a one button puzzle. Your goal is to get basically a ball from point A to point B. And so
By
you have one
Idle
button.
Friday? That look right?
Hard to tell. I mean, it's spelled right.
Okay. Installing. Yeah, the little icon's a ball
Yeah,
and a
Idle
ring.
Friday. Yep. Yep.
Cool.
That's the one. Probably more simple than your golf game, but
Sure.
it's something your kids could play because it's one button.
Nice.
And I
Okay.
know that may sound dumb, but as your ball moves through, your one button does different shit as it gets to different, be it a fucking Ferris wheel to a bouncy thingy to a hook thingy to all sorts of stuff. And there are these gizmo whirring
Whiz
mechanical.
bang whatchamacallits.
Yeah, they're a whiz bang whatchamacallit. But that's a good one. And one I ultimately ended up, I think you can play like the first 5 machines for free.
Gotcha.
And then they're like, hey, unlock the app, or I think it's like $1 for like the next 10 or something like that.
Right.
or $10 for all of them, or something simple like that.
Or watch an
But I was like,
ad.
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? This is good. I will give you my money, because it's one of those. If you want to turn your brain on, but you have no energy to hold a
Hey,
controller,
you know what? And
you know.
that's fair. Sometimes you need a game like that.
Sure. I mean, I wanted to play games Thursday night, and then I like sat down and I was like, no, I'm just gonna watch bad TV until I go to sleep. Oh man. A couple of bits of gaming news. I did the Blizzard update already while you were gone, so we don't need to cover that. There's a Marvel Spider-Man 2 story trailer. Looks very, very good. Shows off their version of Venom in all of its glory.
Wait,
Well
what
designed.
Blizzard update did you do?
The Activision Blizzard Xbox ensuing
Oh, okay.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
They're sold. US is moving forward. UK is not.
Right.
They filed an extension to like
Yeah.
October or something.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 still coming out October 20th. They revealed special edition controller, console, and in a rare move, just the weird PlayStation 5 wings.
So you can replace the ones on your existing one instead of having to buy a whole new PlayStation?
Correct.
Nice.
Except those are sold out and you can't actually get them.
Right.
Ever. In fact, Insomniac confirmed today in tweets, somebody was like, hey, I really want to get those because I don't want to get a whole ass new PlayStation. Because really that's all that's different about that.
Right. And it's one of those, if you didn't do it, someone was going to make and sell you vinyls to do the same thing.
Sure, and someone probably will,
right,
for sure. But no, I guess the limited part of the controllers, the console, and the fins, whatever you want to call it, are indeed limited. Insomniac confirmed today that once they're out, they're out.
Sure.
I was like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, and it's one of these things that I'm actually going to applaud Sony for not making you buy a complete console to get this.
Sure.
Right.
I think it's stupid that, and I didn't even try to get it. I was just like, ooh, the controller comes separately. Maybe I can get a controller.
Right. But even that in and of itself is, again, it's like, oh, hey, if you just want the controller, we'll just sell you the controller. And again, that's a very un-Sony and un-Xbox-like move when you have these limited edition things. It's like, nope, that's the only way you can get it is to buy a whole new one with the controller in tow.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Kudos.
Obviously we've done a lot of talking about it without describing it. The Spider-Man 2 limited edition stuff for the PlayStation 5 console. The fins are black with like a
red
a singe of red splat, like the Spider-Man suit, like it's being taken over by the Venom symbiote.
Yes.
With the Insomniac Spider-Man white Spider-Man logo on it. And it's the same for the controller, except the controller is black on the left side, Spider-Man logo on the touchpad, white buttons on a red right side of the controller that's being taken over by the symbiote. It looks really cool. As a Spider-Man fan, it's like, yep, that does it for me.
Yeah.
Take my money if I could give it to you. But I can't.
Yeah.
So
no,
once
it's
again,
it's a really good design. It's appropriate for what they're trying. It conveys exactly Spider-Man 2. So
yeah, 100%. A lot of people, myself included.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what doesn't convey Spider-Man 2 is Spider-Man 2 itself.
So I've talked about this in the past. So Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, made by Insomniac, which is now a Sony company. they had a particular face actor for Peter Parker in the first Spider-Man game,
Mm-hmm.
which they then changed for Spider-Man Miles Morales. And then they retconned the new face that they put into that game into Spider-Man 1, the remastered.
Mm-hmm.
Which I hate.
But then
because all of my emotional connection is with the prior face.
the PS4 face, or
yeah, the PS4 face.
The Jake Gyllenhaal looking guy.
I wouldn't call him Jake Gyllenhaal looking guy.
Well, by comparison,
he looks more New Yorker-y. I don't know. Yeah, and then there was a bunch of hubbub online because this trailer came out and they were showing MJ, except she didn't look like MJ. Like, it got so bad online that Insomniac had to even say that the face model for MJ is actually the same actress.
Mm-hmm.
But they did age her face up in the second game, which also doesn't make sense because they've said canonically that this game takes place 14 months after Miles Morales. Miles Morales takes place like a handful of months after the first game.
Maybe someone complained that she looked too young for the first one, so they aged her up to where she would be, actually look like.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The thing that I hate...
I'm looking at the two images and I go, yeah, okay, I can see that's the same face model, but... yeah.
Like,
I'm not that hung up on the face models.
See, I'm only hung up because it's like I'm invested in this particular story set of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be weird to me because, like, I compared it to being like, okay, cool. So we're going to go see a Spider-Man movie, but it's going to be Tom Holland's playing Spider-Man, but the voice coming out of him is going to be Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's going to be fucking weird.
And they're going to put Tom Holland's face on top of what's his name's body.
Yeah, sure, something.
Andrew Garfield's body. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Sure. I don't know. It just annoys me. I didn't scroll. I have the picture of the 3.
Yeah.
Spider-Man faces. And it's weird because it looks like they also changed the retcon face to be different again. Like, it's obviously it's the same dude, but it looks like they've, like, I don't know, aged him up or beefcaked him some or something. And it's like, I don't get it. Bugs me. And I don't know, maybe in my replay that I'm going to start in September of the Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man Miles Morales before I get to Spider-Man 2, maybe I'll get over it then.
Right.
But for now,
you know what fixes
I'm an
stuff?
angry fan.
Good gameplay.
Yeah, it's true. The gameplay's great. Right. Yeah. Our very own Damian Newman has finished Final Fantasy 16, and he said it was the best game that he played this year.
And it's not even close.
He said it's the best Final Fantasy he played in a long time. It's just saying that. I have not touched it yet. I've heard lots of good things about it. I know there's a demo. I will continue saying what I've said all year, which is that it looks like Final Fantasy meets Game of Thrones, and I'm not interested.
Sure.
But I've also not played it, so I don't have a ground to stand on.
Right.
And, and like I said, I think last podcast, Tears of the Kingdom wrecked me for video games because everything this year is going to be viewed through
in competition with
that experience. And, I'm I'm playing Atomic Heart. I'm enjoying myself, but it's, you know, it's a mixture of games I've played before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing Pikmin, and I'll soon get to Pikmin 4, which I admittedly haven't played yet, but it's going to be Pikmin.
Right.
And
Well, I
it's
mean,
like,
Tears of the Kingdom is also Breath of the Wild.
is it though? That's up for debate, good sir.
Okay. I haven't played either one, so
Oh, okay.
I can't participate in that debate. I'm just saying, from what I've seen, it's like, oh, okay, it's more of the same stuff to me. To me.
Sure. No, I can understand that. Some bad news. At least I think it's bad.
Okay.
So, Chinese mega giant Tencent has bought Dying Light developer Techland.
Mm-hmm. Why is this a bad thing?
Because I don't think Tencent has humanity.
Okay.
Can't prove that, but there you go. So, yeah. Techland is now owned by China. Polish company owned by China. Cool.
Right.
Great, I guess. Another way to look at this is Dying Light 2 did not do as well as they wanted.
Right.
And they were in trouble.
And from what I've seen from my history with Tencent, good company, bad company, and different to the company, is they do inject funding into their studios.
Sure. That's absolutely true. Because they have all the funding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a ton of details about this. I saw a small YouTube video about it last night as I was going to bed, but I guess there was a Square Enix fan conference thingamajiggy in Japan where they welcomed Square Enix's new CEO, because I guess they have a new CEO.
Mm-hmm. And
then shortly after he got on stage, Phil Spencer got on stage with him.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody went, what the fuck?
Right.
In which they shook hands, and there's a little image in our Discord of Final Fantasy and Xbox. And the long and short of that is, number one, more Final Fantasy games will be coming to Xbox, and future Final Fantasy games will be coming to Xbox, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, did I say that already? Did I just say that Final Fantasy 14 is coming to Xbox?
You said Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 14, or not 14. Yeah, 14? Yeah, 14, the MMO, is coming to Xbox in parity. They're going to have a early access beta in the spring with full launch shortly after that, since I can't imagine they'll have to do a ton of stuff since it's already on PC.
What's still up in the air is whether or not that will be a Game Pass game. Prevailing theory is not a chance in hell.
Yeah, because that's the most popular MMO in the world right now.
Right.
And
which, I mean,
the subscriptions to that are crazy expensive.
Sure. And as a business standpoint, if you could get Final Fantasy 14 for the cost of Game Pass, you would sell a lot of Game Pass for that.
Here's my thought on it. Because I know Final Fantasy 14 has been around for a fucking hot minute now. They're on their like 90th expansion. But it's also never been hotter either. The base game will be on Game Pass.
Right. That's the smart
without
way
a subscription. And then people get hooked into that.
Then they buy the expansions.
Away they go. And the reason I'm saying that is not because of any Xbox bias or anything like that. It's because of the, 90 times that I have attempted to play Final Fantasy 14 and trying to get through whatever the fuck kind of UI sign-in interface, fucking honk your left toe, spin around 5 times, and fucking make coffee to a Himalayan dude on the mountains just to let you into the goddamn server.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking frustrating.
And you have to pay for that.
Yeah, and you have to pay for that. And by the time you're in, you're just like, I'm fucking done with this piece of shit.
Right.
And if they could eliminate that for a whole new audience like myself, that would be very good.
Yeah, sign
that
you
would be
up.
very good. Because I don't actually know if the game is fun to play or not. I think I got to the town and a little bit of the tutorial.
Yeah, and again,
And at that point, I'd spent 3 hours trying to get into the game.
To give the base game to Game Pass and let people play it for their subscription cost. It will move subscriptions. Like, you will have people that'll do that because they're like, well, I'm already paying whatever $10 a month to Final Fantasy to play this damn game. An extra $5, I get the entire library for Xbox and PC plus this game. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I
like,
don't.
the only thing that wouldn't make
know.
sense is how is Microsoft going to actually make money off of that deal, but. Or should I say, how is Square going to make money off that deal if they give it away on Game Pass, other than, like you said, getting people to pay for the expansions?
Well, I think paying for the expansions, and then we know when stuff is on Game Pass, Microsoft is paying the developer.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if the deal is, okay, yes, this giant historic MMO is coming to Xbox, Xbox that historically doesn't get a lot of the MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they do, it happens way later. Looking at you, Phantasy Star Online 2. I had to think about that for a second because it was Phantasy Star Online, then it was Phantasy Star Universe. Then I think there was a Universe 2, and then they went back to Phantasy Star. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. Xbox continuing to make all the plays correctly internationally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. That's what I got for gaming. I'm going to spin. Nope, we did that. Water entertainment.
Okay, so yeah, we have UFOs, and we have Barbenheimer.
Yep, Barbenheimer.
I have not seen either one of them.
I saw both of them the same day.
You went and did the Barbenheimer marathon.
And guess which one made me depressed?
Barbie.
Oh,
well, you knew what you were getting with Oppenheimer.
I mean, I actually figured I would be like all like sad about history and shocked and shit with Oppenheimer.
But were you though? Like, you weren't.
No, I was very enjoyed that movie. I don't think it's perfect like everybody says.
Sure.
My naivete when it comes to that particular portion of history, I didn't know shit other than the Oppenheimer dude. I knew that was a thing, and I knew there was a Trinity test, and then I know Hiroshima happened, and I know that one famous voice clip of the actual Oppenheimer. I'm Death Become World, the Destroyer of Worlds, right? Yeah, Oppenheimer is an interesting movie. As a Christopher Nolan movie fan, I would actually, I'm trying to put this in perspective. I would compare it structurally. It's a lot like The Prestige that Christopher Nolan did. My opinion on The Prestige is slighted because it's one of my top 10 films of all time ever. I think that movie is
damn near perfect.
Basically perfect. Yeah. It's basically perfect. I think with Oppenheimer, there's a lot of jumping around in the time. That's why I compare it to Prestige. Prestige is easier to follow in that like we have a handful of characters over a handful of decades, whereas Oppenheimer bops from like Oppenheimer's boyhood, then okay, there's like a court case, and then we're also in black and white, to okay, we're building a bomb, to like it all
Right.
around, to okay, now he's a professor, and not in a
In a good
because
linear fashion.
not in a linear fashion at fucking all.
Right.
In fact, I didn't know some of the scenes I saw in the beginning were actually at the end of the movie until I got back to the end of the movie. And I don't think it's like it's not to confuse you on purpose.
Right.
I think it is for pacing, and so that a 3 hour and 10 minute movie doesn't feel like a 3 hour and 10-minute movie.
Right.
And, there are a lot of scenes that, do get time to breathe and are nice and dramatic, but no one scene or period of time in Oppenheimer's life lingers for too long before you like nothing overstays its welcome.
So not enough time to go run pee?
Oh yeah, no, the run pee on that one was fucked. The run pee literally was like, yeah, you could probably go in the first 15 minutes, but then don't. That's what it said. And I was like, okay, good to know.
But I love that has now become a staple in your movie going experience. Is like, let me check the run pee.
Thanks. I will say though, I tried to use it on Barbie and it like shit the bed and didn't work. So not helpful on Barbie. You failed me, run pee. But it wasn't needed on Oppenheimer. Stayed the whole movie, didn't go to the bathroom. Yeah, it was good. I do think actually though the best thing about Oppenheimer is actually the score.
I'm not surprised.
The music for this fucking movie is awesome. Okay. I've listened to the soundtrack several times already. It's a mix of classical Mozart-y type works juxtaposed with some really simple but vibrato-y synths.
Okay.
Very, very good. Very, very good score. It's Ludwig fucking God, how do you say his last name? I gotta fucking look it up on my goddamn phone. Ludwig Göransson.
I'm sure you absolutely butchered that, but sure.
Yep, I'm sure I did. Got the little 2 dots over the eye. I don't know what that fucking does.
That umlaut,
yeah. For those not familiar with him, he's probably most known for doing the scores for Black Panther and The Mandalorian.
That's why that name sounds familiar.
Yes, he also did Tenet, Christopher Nolan's last film as well. Although I don't remember the score on that, so it was. Yep. Don't remember the score? Probably not a worthwhile score then.
That's funny. I'm just looking at the opening cast on this. It's like, oh, it's got Terminator guy.
It has everybody.
Jason Clarke. It's got
the Oppenheimer's cast in this was equal parts. Ooh, I knew all these famous faces. To oh my god, that background character is blah blah, and that person is blah blah, and that person is blah blah. What I didn't have on my bingo card was a lot of nudity and sex scenes for Oppenheimer. Did not expect that going into this movie. So if anyone if this is a thing that tickles your fancy, I didn't care one way or another personally about this, but if you want to see the White Widow from the MCU buck ass nude on Cillian Murphy, this is the movie for you.
Oh, Emily Blunt.
No, the chick who plays Natasha Romanoff's sister in the MCU.
Oh, Florence Pugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to see Florence Pugh in full view,
Cool.
this is that movie. And it's so weird. I thought it was so weird because it's like, again, the movie jumps around a lot. So it's just like, it's like, oh, they introduce this character. Bam, next scene, naked, fucking, just fucking. It's like, oh, okay. All right then. Jesus. But yeah, Cillian Murphy. I've, not to sound like a fucking tool, but maybe a little. I've been a fan of Cillian Murphy since before he was cool. Okay. All the way back to fucking 28 Days Later. And particularly Sunshine was another particular notable work. And he is indeed really, really fucking good at this. Also, really fucking good is Robert Downey Jr.'s character, as well as Matt Damon's character is particularly great as well. There's a particular frustrated intensity that's just really likable to watch on screen with Matt Damon's character in this film. But yeah, like you said, if you look at the cast, like Jesus Christ, everybody's in this fucking movie.
Right.
Even if they're in it for like a minute. Even what's his name? Who's Huey from The Boys, and he's Ensign Boingler in Lower Decks, and more recently crossed over in Strange New Worlds. Like he's in the film. Like everybody's in this fucking movie. It's almost just like Christopher Nolan was like, "Hey, I'm doing an Oppenheimer movie," and then all of Hollywood was like, "Okay."
Right. They almost wanted to be in his like what's his Wes Anderson like.
Yeah,
They almost
yeah.
Wes Anderson. This like Nolan wants to do a movie. Let's do it.
Yeah, is pretty great cast. Like definitely. Yeah, I'd say the only thing that I didn't like about the movie, and it may not even be the movie's problem, but like I said, my own naivete to history, because there was stuff where I was like, I don't know the fucking difference between an A bomb and an H bomb. But apparently there's a big difference because these characters are arguing about it on screen. I wish they would kind of explain to me what the difference is so that I got the picture.
Atomic versus hydrogen.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. I just thought they were like the same thing.
Okay.
But they're not.
No.
I mean, they're somewhat similar,
yes.
but I know that now because after I got out of the movie and doing lunch, I watched a bunch of fucking history shit on YouTube to fill in the fucking, like, that's what I would say is the bad part about the movie is if you're not familiar with that history,
right,
this is not the biopic for you. Is it a good movie? Yes. Is it foundational to your historic knowledge? No. So yeah, Oppenheimer, very good movie. I don't think it's the second coming of Christ, like a lot of people think, though. So, there you go. That was Oppenheimer.
now,
and then 5 hours after that, we went and saw Barbie, which I will now post this thing. I couldn't conceal it on Discord for something earlier. I don't know why. But find the fucking thing.
as Tim goes to figure out how to Discord or find whatever synopsis he wrote. Casey Affleck was in that damn movie. What the?
Oh, and Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he plays a real fucking cunt. All right, there we go. So, don't look at this before I talk about the movie.
Okay.
Look at this after I talk about the movie, because then I'll talk about it. So, Barbie.
Where did you post it?
It's in entertainment.
Oh, okay.
So look at that after I've talked about how I felt about the movie. So Barbie it's a movie about Barbie.
Okay.
In which Barbie is played by Margot Robbie, who's most famously known for portraying the one and only live action Harley Quinn. And the iconic Ken, who is her like male not partner in toys, is played by Ryan Gosling. And then there's a smattering of other females and males who are playing other Barbies and Kens.
Right. Because if anyone knows anything about the Barbie universe, there's multiple Barbies. There's a Barbie for every demographic.
Oh, and you're going to see them all in this film, let me tell you. So I guess number one, so here's my male boyhood experience with Barbie. I don't even remember how old I was. I think I was below 13, I think.
Okay.
I have vague memories of a girl that I kind of was crushing on, playing Barbie with her, but she didn't have a Ken doll. So I was like a can of dog food for the dog for Barbie. That's what my boyhood experience is with Barbie. She was Barbie. I was a talking can of dog food.
You were Can, not Ken.
I was Can, yes. Or as will be unfortunately memed for all of eternity, my job was Can.
Right.
You're not going to get that reference, but it's a thing. So I think number one about Barbie, I was not looking forward to going and seeing it. My wife took me to it. This was the plan. And I went to it because I love my wife. I was not expecting Barbie to have just a shitload of existential dread and death and commentary on me being male in a way that made me depressed. Yeah. Something that is surprising people is that it is a PG-13 movie. And it gets weird sometimes or a lot of times.
Okay.
Like the first 20 minutes is like they are the toys living in Barbie land.
Right, like alternate dimension.
This. Yeah, doing like the same old shit all the time. And then Barbie wakes up one day and like does her fake shower. And then they're like, "Oh, how are you doing today, Barbie?" And she just straight up is just like, "I've been thinking a lot about death." And it's just like everybody, like the whole theater, like the movie, like everything just kind of fucking stops. And you're like, what the fuck? And then that like somehow she gets into the real world and like talks to Mattel, but then what happens in Barbie Land affects the real world. And then Ryan Gosling like finds a book in a school about the patriarchy, and he's jealous of always not being loved by Barbie, so he goes back to make it Ken Dojo extreme world. And the Barbies have to re-Barbify themselves to get the universe correct. Something. And the whole time all of this weird chicanery is happening, I'm going, why does this fucking movie feel beat for fucking beat so absolutely fucking mind-numbingly similar? And I can't put my fucking finger on it. And then every time I thought I would put my finger on it, something surprising in the film would happen that would genuinely make me laugh. I didn't expect there to be a musical number in the fucking Barbie movie.
Yeah, I'm looking through the
about
credits,
Ken.
and there's 3 page downs worth of dancer in credits.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so Barbie's a strange movie in that it feels so wholly, super weirdly hyper familiar to me specifically, but then also veers off into weird existential dread and like livingness and like woman standards and that sort of stuff. And I can only conclude 2 things. Or 3 things. 1, sometimes the movie is pretty dang funny. 2, this movie is not meant for you and me, Nate. we are not. This is not a movie we can comprehend. And in fact, if you view it with open eyes and some intelligence, makes us look pretty fucking bad as men, which leads to depression.
Sure.
And then thirdly, we've fucking seen this movie before.
Oh, what movie is it?
So go ahead and click that image that I sent in the Discord.
Open in browser. Oh, yeah.
And you might want to just read through this for our audience.
Mm-hmm. Generic, stereotypical main character living their same perfect day on repeat. Lives in colorful, harmonious utopia. Hints of trouble that protagonist ignores. I love that the CEO is the same CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Trouble event occurs that protagonist cannot... Two protagonists that cannot be ignored. Main character seeks a solution. Strange outcast guru sends protagonist on a quest. Sidekick joins quest. Protagonist attempts to recruit allies, but is not taken seriously. Yeah, okay. I'm going through this.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Villain tries to end main character's life. Oh, yeah. Monolithic skyscraper to confront villain. Protagonist ends up in a strange place, gains deeper understanding of their world's problems. Comes back to find the world under attack. Protagonist confronts the image. Confronts villain on the rigidity of the rules. Villain asks protagonist what they want and agrees to loosen rules. Protagonist and sidekick reconcile previous tension. Together they have mended their relationship and gained peace within their individual identities. The once perfect world now embraces everyone's individuality in the messiness of free will. So yeah, Barbie is the Lego movie.
Barbie is 100 fucking and 10,000% the Lego movie, to the point where the fucking CEO or Lord Business is still Will Ferrell. So upon this realization, I can only conclude that Barbie, that's being hailed as a fucking universal acclaim fucking women's rights movie and engendering itself to all little girls everywhere, that Greta Gerwig is a fucking hack. Like, what? Like, it's so much the Lego movie Like, and you just read a fucking meme synopsis
Right.
from some astute people on Reddit. Like, this is the kind of thing that's literally going to be made fun of when people realize it. Like, this is the reason the movie's making fucking $500 million in the box office right now. I don't think it has any fucking thing to do with the fact that it's Barbie. Or I'll admit the movie's well made. Like, it doesn't seem.
But you're saying it's formulaic at
Whatever.
this point.
It's. They took the fucking script of the Lego movie and they put real people and some life-size Barbie-ass dollhouse props and then rewrote it from a woman's perspective using the Barbie toy. Like,
Okay.
What? So, I don't know. The Barbie movie, like, it exists now, unfortunately. But I'll say the huge caveat on this is when the credits were rolling and there was no after credits sequence. And I turned to my wife in the theater and she has a big old shit-eating grin on her face and she's all smiley and twinkly eyed. And I'm like, so? And she's like, I fucking loved it. It was fantastic. She's like, what did you think? And I was like, I think I have depression now.
Wow.
And she was like, ooh. So, yeah. It's.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the thing that exists. Anyways, well,
so UFOs, huh?
Sure, UFOs.
What do we have?
Can we
left?
get
tech?
Can we get X-Files left? Well, no. Hang on. We still have. What'd you see this week?
Oh, well, I saw Strange New Worlds because I've been keeping up.
Did
on
you
that
see
show.
both of them?
Well, that was so I was going to get into that. I was like, yeah, I watched my Strange New Worlds. I've had my Thursday fix. Yes. And then you're like, and they dropped an episode on Sunday. And I went, they did what?
Yeah.
And it's a crossover with Lower Decks. And I went, oh.
And it's directed by Jonathan Frakes.
And it's directed by Will Riker himself. Yeah, it was.
Yes.
God, I was like, yep. Be right back. When I said be right back, I literally opened up my phone, fired up the Paramount app, and was like, I'm watching this right the F now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw you streaming, so I didn't want to bug you.
Oh, no, you should have bugged me. Listen. As a lifelong Trekkie, as you can see, the NCC 1701-D behind me in the video.
The fat one?
That one. That's what the D is.
I know. The fat one.
Yes. You may always interrupt me for Trekkie talk.
Now, speaking of those, I actually did not see the most recent one this Thursday because life has been.
It was fucking dark.
It kind of looked like it would be, but yeah, I haven't seen this week's.
It was funny without going into it. Me and the wife were like, I'm sensing a pattern this season of dark, morally ambiguous, yet interesting philosophical conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Complete zany hilarity, awesome episode. Dark philosophical, right? Complete zany episode. And next week's the musical. So
there you go.
They're right on course.
Jeez. But yeah, no, I watched both of those then. Yeah, and that was a very good crossover. I must say, I was like, how are they going to pull this off? And they
fucking pulled it off, man. Not only did they pull it off, they did it with aplomb, grace, humility and so much hilarity.
Right?
Um, I think I was probably more nervous about the crossover than you because, um, these I wasn't familiar with Tawny Newson as an actress on screen. I was
Oh,
only familiar
gotcha.
with her in Lower Decks,
Hmm.
and I knew the guy who plays Boimler because he's in The Boys, and
Right.
like I said, he's in Oppenheimer. I was like, okay, yeah, he can really act
Yeah, and
on
he's, he's
screen.
and he's a Quaid, so
Yeah, he's not. By the way, I just learned that, and that blew my mind. I didn't. I've been watching this dude for fucking 5 seasons of The Boys and almost 4 now for Lower Decks, and I had no fucking idea that his mom is Meg Ryan and his dad is Dennis fucking Quaid.
right.
I legitimately thought his name was a fucking screen name. Like, I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, okay.
No, another guy picked Quaid.
Had
Yeah,
no
no, he's a
idea
Quaid.
he's the actual kid.
Yeah.
And now that I see it, it's like, well, he's tall and slender like Meg Ryan, and when you look at his face, he's got the Quaid.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, he comes from good breeding stock as far as acting his ass off is concerned.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, he would have been very comfortable in that scenario. But yeah, as you were saying, Tawny, what was she in prior to that?
I've not seen her in live action stuff. I've seen in her IMDb that she's done a lot of live action stuff. So it was really interesting to see them who've been voicing a particular character for over 4 seasons now do it in live action, and not only do it in live action in crossover with Strange New Worlds, which is kind of the it show as far as Star Trek is concerned right now, especially now that Picard's over.
Still makes me sad.
That's okay. It went out on a win.
It did.
A big ol' fucking W. Yeah, that episode of Strange New Worlds was so pitch perfect, so good. All of the little things. Did you watch the behind the scenes thing?
No.
Oh, you should.
The Wesley Crusher thing.
Yeah.
What is
it?
it?
All the little things that they snuck in there, because there was stuff in that episode I didn't even realize was in the episode until they pointed it out. There's a very specific walk that Ensign Boimler does in live action that was him mimicking his cartoon version.
Yeah.
Or because he himself is 6'4", he does the Riker sit.
No, I saw that.
Which wasn't a scripted thing.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of in the thing. If you watch the thing, he says something to the effect of yeah, I just looked director Jonathan Frakes in the eye and I went, I'm gonna do the word Riker.
Right.
And he just kept the camera rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, super funny. And they had a trailer for season 4 of Lower Decks, and they referenced that episode hilariously. They had a thing in the trailer for their new season that's coming out real soon. I think it's
I actually just saw that when I was looking up because I'm looking up what's her name, Tawny
Newson.
Yeah.
And God, this is a bunch of bullshit. It's like that Pike thing we're not supposed to talk about. It's like, oh my goodness, this is so good. The cross pollination, absolutely fantastic. Does it involve temporal shenanigans?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But damn it, those are the best kind of shenanigans.
Right. I love how they just they butt right up against him, and it's like, okay. And then of course the one at the very end, the spoilery one.
Which one?
Where they're like, what if we say that you guys discovered it?
Yeah.
Right. And they come back through. Turns out you were right.
Yeah, that episode was just it. My work weeks have been rough lately, and that just made me so fucking content and happy
Mm-hmm.
and sad that I didn't have another episode to go to immediately.
Right.
Although the following episode was not necessarily a happy pill, but it was a very good episode.
Go watch Barbie. That's a happy movie for. Oh wait, I'll see myself
Okay.
out.
Oh goodness. What else have I been watching? Foundation's back, season 2.
Yes, I saw that.
They are off to a rip-roaring start. I continue to watch it. I continue to be slightly confused, and I continue to be intrigued.
Okay.
I do feel the writing is better this season, though I will note that so far of the 3 episodes, each episode has been co-written by Jane Espenson, who I bring up as she's kind of a sci-fi whisperer. She only, I don't know, wrote half of Battlestar Galactica, all of the good stuff that ever was for Buffy and Firefly and just all of the things that are good.
Is what you're saying.
She's a very, very fucking good writer.
Okay.
Like, she abso-fucking-lutely knows her shit 100%. And whenever I see her name pop up on an episode, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a good one then. But yeah, no, she's fantastic. I always applaud her work whenever I see it. And it looks like she's fucking sprucing up Foundation, as it were.
Good, because yeah, I started to watch it the first season, and then I fell off because it just wasn't it wasn't holding my interest. Like I'm like, I'm trying to stay on this, and I just couldn't.
I mean, I would say try to power through.
Okay.
Because season 2, the pacing is like,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's their big, super high budget sci-fi.
Yep.
Yeah, the pacing on season 2 is really good so far. Like, I like turn it on and I don't find that I'm lack of attention grabbing.
Okay.
Let's see. So we did that. We didn't have any Gordon Ramsay food shows this week because they're off for some reason. So Jessica actually got me to watch a different cooking show this morning. It was called Cutthroat Kitchen. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah, I have.
I didn't have any fucking idea what it was. We just launched right into it. The first episode of whatever the current season is.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta say, a lot of fun. Super good stuff. For those who don't know what Cutthroat Kitchen is, it has 4 professional chefs. They have stacks of money, and they are allowed to bid on competition twistery things against their competitors.
Okay.
And they do 3 rounds. The episode I saw, they were doing clams. And then this one competitor outbid his others. So then his other people, so he got to use store-bought clams. And then the others they had this weird tank with this machine rigged up where they had to like dig for their own clams in salt water. And they have to cook their clams in 30 minutes. So they're like they're like, oh shit, I'm a professional chef. I don't know how the fuck to get clams on fucking sand.
And they're losing time in the process of trying to dig these.
Yeah, because they're trying to find clams because they have to have something to cook. And then obviously they're full of sand, so they have to clean them, So that was one. The second one was they had to do a turkey burger. But then the twist was if you got outbid, you get to take your teammate's turkey away and replace it with turkey hot dogs and deli turkey meats. And they have to make their turkey burger with that. Of course, it didn't go well. And then the last one was they had to do a tart, and then whoever got outbid, um, they got to swap the fruits the other chef picked with fruits that are technically fruits
Right.
that are not the sweet kind. So like they had peppers and
Ugh.
other shit. And I guess the crux of the game is the whole bidding thing is strategy because basically those are your winnings. So if you bid too much and you win, you could walk away with a really low amount of money. So like for example, the guy who won in this one and only episode I just watched today,
Mm-hmm.
um, he only won like 10 grand
Right.
because he had bid to try to win on other things.
Sure.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Kept my attention. And I liked the contestiness of it, the kind of the twists of it. I liked the bidding aspect. And I also liked that there was only like 4 contestants. So you could like really focus on like what they're doing instead of like a whole fuck ton of people.
Right.
Like it usually is. And I also like that I guess they only do this according to Jessica. Like these people are like very professional chefs, wherever the fuck they come from. Like, so like they were like the, like another twist that happened in the first round with the clams was they had a double mid-round twist. So it was the digging up the clams, and then mid-round it was like, okay, now you have to cook your clams using a fucking clothes steamer. And I was like, what? So yeah, I liked all that chicanery. But yeah, like the things that the chefs came up with, like, oh, okay, well, we'll do a paper style. Like they were really, really quick to come up with a different way to do that, which showcased, their high level of skill.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. That's interesting to see. So yeah, I had fun. I'm going to continue to do that. I will say though, last week's episode of Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars, which was shot in Seattle, actually actually legitimately on film has my brother-in-law in it.
As an extra or just kind of background, or
he was so the Food Stars thing was Gordon sent them to Seattle to do pop-up coffee stands at the morning rush on a Friday. And whoever's coffee stand sold the best or tasted the best, they won. And
right.
So my brother-in-law was one of the people who came in and had coffee and ate whatever they were serving and made comments and notes and stuff. So very funny stuff. And it's funny because
did he bother to tell you? No.
We had actually known that he'd done this, but he did this like 2 years ago.
Oh, gotcha.
So everybody had forgotten about it. So like this is like way in the can as far as content film is concerned. Because like we had heard, like he had told us, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a thing on a Gordon Ramsay show. And he's like, yeah, it's like called Food Stars. And like we looked at it and nothing existed because it didn't exist, right? Because it's brand new. And like I remember he'd talked about it, and he'd said he was miffed because he did the thing and there was cameras, but he didn't get to meet Gordon Ramsay. So he's a big Gordon Ramsay fan. So, but yeah, brother-in-law's in there, and we freeze framed and pulled it up on our phones, take screen caps, and send it to the family and stuff. Very, very interesting. But so it goes. All right. Last topic, and let's close it out.
Technology. Going up. So the earworms, right?
I don't know about earworms, but yes, it's a speaker. So I stumbled across this because it was super cool. I guess these exist already, but
Hmm.
they're going to be pretty much everywhere next year. Um, Technology people who make the technology. They have created new silicon based speakers
Hmm.
for your listening pleasure. Now, why is this fucking important? This is important for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is the first major change to how speakers are produced and fabricated
Hmm.
since the fucking speaker, the magnet, the paper cone, or plastic membrane, or
Right.
neodymium magnet, or whatever you want to call it. All speakers use that tech.
Hmm.
Like everything, to your phone, to fucking everything. And we've all become so used to it, and they've gotten small and they've gotten better, and how you make them and stuff is fine. But nobody's made like a new one, like
Right.
a whole, like we're talking we've been listening to music on hard drives, and this will be SSDs.
Hmm.
It'll be a totally, totally, totally new type of speaker that ironically has its basis in piezoelectric speakers.
Hmm.
Right?
Yep.
That makes me giggle, honestly, because fucking piezoelectric speakers suck.
Right. Yeah.
And the fact that they can be good now
Right.
is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the speakers that are currently in your cell phones, the size and the dimensions that they're actually working these things into, and you just go, they just actually made that better,
Sure.
right? And more
But
practical, where you can actually, instead of getting something like anyone that I know that currently has some sort of hearing assistance, um,
yes.
right, and even the ones that are the best ones they have now, it's like it makes things tinny because you're using a driver that has to be small enough to fit in your inner ear.
Mhm.
That it's tough to produce an appreciable range.
Yeah. And so basically, what this means in layman's terms is these are going to be solid state
Speakers.
speakers.
Hmm.
Um, and the only way that I can communicate about why this is a big deal is number one, speakers already use very little power, but these will use even less power.
Hmm.
And the fidelity or quality is going to exceed studio monitor or reference headphones. Like I'm actually doing the show on a
I'll,
studio
I'll
reference headphone.
I'll believe that when I hear it. That's a tough sell. But even if you can come close,
So if
yeah.
you look for some of the other crazy priced,
Hmm.
we could not afford it. But there are headphones now that are using this technology for the professional space. And if you look on YouTube reviews and stuff for them, comparing to like my Sony, what the fuck is the goddamn thing on this? The MDR 7506s,
Hmm.
which are a fucking paper cone. And I've said repeatedly on the show, fucking fantastic. And they haven't changed the design since the 90s,
Right.
quite literally, because it ain't broke. We reached the peak. Can't get better.
Right.
And now apparently we can. Um, so that's pretty cool because not only will this allow better power, better sound fidelity, but it will also allow different form factors of
Hmm.
speakers because now, like you said, a speaker is not constrained by having a membrane, a
Right.
driver, and a magnet.
And it
Even
can
though they've
also truly,
gotten
truly,
them.
truly be waterproof.
Yes, although I don't believe that the first generation
No,
will be
probably
that way.
not. But like you can now because you're not using paper,
Yeah.
right? Or exposed electronics.
Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting because what this will basically do is the speaker that's taking up, your thumbprint or your thumb, basically the size of your thumb inside your phone, can now be super even smaller. So you could use that space for battery or whatever. Um, like you said, hearing aids and stuff like that, that is really smaller stuff that people wear all the time because they have to.
Mhm.
That stuff's going to be even smaller.
And better
It's going to be like
sounding.
a thin, yeah, and better sounding. Because the thing about it is, like, when it's solid state, you have to realize that the speakers that you're listening to this podcast to right now, as the proverbial fork in your ear, there's a piece of magnet moving back and forth 100 million times a second to reproduce a sound wave of my voice in
Right.
your ear.
Well,
And
there's one to
now
collect it and then
it
one
won't.
to play it back to you.
Yeah, exactly. And now that will be done using silicon and electrical signals
Mhm.
at a fraction of the power and a fraction of the size.
I wonder how long it takes until it comes to the microphone technology, since
I don't know.
right?
I mean, we're already partially there. I'm on a digital mic now, but I have to imagine if we were to tear open my Yeti X now,
The
the
pickups, yeah,
capture arrays are probably not too dissimilar than your XLR mic,
hmm
which would be a wired mic for folks at home, which is what Nate's using right now.
yes.
That's a old school analog style, but still used all the time.
hmm
Um,
And
yeah,
again, if it ain't broke,
sure,
technologies work. There's no like we've reached a point where we found a good quality per cost per quality range that everyone's kind of comfortable paying for,
sure, sure.
right? So why improve? But yeah, again, this is you're talking in terms of wearables, right?
Oh yeah.
If your
Well, and
wearables get to the point where your earpieces are discrete and your microphones are quality and also still discrete.
mhm. Well, and I think of it this way, right? Like, obviously, we unfortunately have not had amazing battery breakthrough tech.
hmm
I read about another one the other day. I don't know enough about it really to talk about it on the show, other than we had cells, and then we had solid, like paper, like layers of cells,
hmm
and now the one I was hearing was like a string cell.
Okay.
They're saying you can get more energy per, you know,
Cool.
scientific measurement unit.
Right.
And, um,
More Moz.
but yeah, like I said, I'm sure the speaker in my Apple Watch is huge in it when space is an absolute premium
Right.
in something that small. And this can increase the battery, and I don't know. It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited um to see, as someone who has pretty good damn good hearing, especially cuz my nose sucks. Um I'm excited for new things that sound better. Like, that's exciting to me. As someone who, I had the old Panasonic fucking over the ears shitty piece of shit fucking headphone on my fucking Walkman,
hmm With
and
the orange foam caps on them.
I didn't actually have a Walkman. I had a Panasonic. It was the Panasonic, whatever it was called,
Yeah.
with the Panasonic ear headphones.
Yeah.
That sounded like crap too. I
That
remember
were
earbuds.
plastic. Yeah.
Earbuds when those came out, and then at some point I had some cheap, but they sounded pretty good, like metal earbuds.
hmm
Had like a metal grill and a metal back, and then like a little round black rubber thing, like the ear gasket, so to speak. And then, of course, obviously, and then we got to um, like the Apple headphones, and I was like, oh, these are way better than the pieces of shit that I had
Right.
before. And then it seemed like every iPod, those headphones got better and better, which, because it's true, they did.
Well, they had to.
Until eventually they apexed at the earpods, and then they're like, okay, fuck, what do we do now? Okay, make it wireless.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm excited for a horizontal step in that industry.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who does stuff in audio all the time, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. And then the last thing we have to talk about.
X gonna give it to you. Does that make the people that are on their expatriates? How many other jokes can I get out of this?
I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot you can do with the letter X.
Yeah. For example.
So, Elon Musk, in his infinite wisdom, has renamed Twitter X.
Rebranded, and nobody asked for this.
Nobody asked for this.
In a move that nobody asked for, wanted, needed, said.
You know what I'm hoping this is? And you'll get this reference because we're old. I'm really hoping this is a fucking new Coke situation.
Okay. No? Yeah, no, I get it. I just don't get the tie-in here because.
Well, so they did the new Coke and the formula tasted like shit. And then they re-released original Coke, right? And everybody was all super fucking happy about it.
That's different. Like that.
Is it though?
Yeah, because you changed the inside of it, and they really haven't so far, other than just trying to game it. There's more of the in a more modern context. We don't have Sierra Mist anymore. It's now called Sunny.
No, Starry.
Or Starry, yeah. That would be it. It's just like we didn't change anything on the inside. We just put a new wrapper on it.
Yeah.
I guess he had to leave his mark on it. Like now it's officially his because it's no longer Twitter.
The thing, as a person who's been on the internet for a bit and who owns his own business,
mm-hmm.
It absolutely boggles my mind that you would throw away the iconic brand name and verbiage and vernacular
right.
surrounding Twitter and tweeting and retweeting.
But did he? Because you can still retweet in the app, or are you Xing now?
So look at what I posted.
I did.
It's still a retweet.
Mm-hmm.
For now. But you can no longer properly tweet. Tweets are now posts.
Right.
Which is dumb.
Yeah.
Because.
And again, why? You have.
But, like,
just.
Twitter has become a fucking. It's like Kleenex.
I was going to say, right? Yeah, it's like that
in
tweet,
the vernacular.
The tweet itself, like it may not be the most popular app, but everyone knows what a tweet is. It literally is the Band-Aid, the Kleenex, the Xerox. Right?
Yeah. And it's like you don't throw that away because it's entered into like this, I don't know what you want to call it, the worldwide subconsciousness.
The zeitgeist. Yeah.
The zeitgeist
and the lexicon of
the world.
Yeah.
Right? Like I look at it this way, right? And it's, not all of these things have been around that long either.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm old. You're not going to, it exists still, but you don't talk about like MySpacing.
Right.
Right? MySpace exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It still works.
Mm-hmm.
People use it, I guess. But it's like.
But again, just the term tweeting. Like people Google in Bing, right?
Yes. And even though Facebook's parent company is Meta,
mm-hmm.
it's still Facebook.
Correct.
It's still Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for better or for worse, those are what they are.
Right.
And it's like things that are named horribly either die and are buried, I'm looking at you, Apple Ping.
Is that a
I'm never
search
gonna.
engine?
The fact that you don't know what it is tells me everything I need to know.
Okay.
No, it was their social network.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember that?
No, again, I've never been an Apple user, so
Fair enough.
I had no
Yeah,
reason.
it was only through the music app. It was the weirdest, dumbest fucking thing.
Ping.
Yep. Yeah, you
Gotcha.
can ping each other. What? But it's like, it's a bad call and it doesn't exist, or it continues to exist, but it's not in the zeitgeist.
Right.
It's like YouTube's going to be around.
Mm-hmm.
Google's presumably going to be around.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we like it or not, Bing's hotter than it's ever been.
Right.
TikTok, and it's like,
TikTok is now ubiquitous with vertical short form video.
It's like, why would you call Twitter the letter X?
Mm-hmm.
And furthermore, why would you choose a logo that's a typeface from a Microsoft font set?
Mm-hmm.
And further, if you're going to go so far as to change the name, you need a new vernacular.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't call them X tweets. We can't call them, I guess they're X posts or posts. But, in the app right now, which for me on iOS, it was Twitter yesterday, it is X now on my phone. But if you go to retweet something, it's still retweeting.
Right. Oh, I can't tell you how many people it was just like, I thought Twitter uninstalled itself because if you didn't have it on your main home screen and you just had it in your app store alphabetically, it suddenly wasn't where it used to be. And when the icon changed, they're scrolling like I can't even find the bird icon. It's suddenly have an X logo and an X the X name underneath it. And it's like, what is this?
Well, and I thought about it from another perspective. I've been doing a bunch of website stuff for my business this week, and I even had a business meeting with a website guy. And like just thinking about Twitter, and it's like, okay, what about all the hundreds of billions of websites that have a little bird icon that's like linking to somebody's Twitter?
Oh, fuck, you just reminded me. I have to change some of my imagery from my fucking stream.
Like, what about all of the iconography across the fucking world? Like, why would you do that? So I, for one, am not changing shit. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. That's what I'm going to do. Because there's no logical business reason I could possibly fathom other than, fuck you, I'm rich. I'm Elon Musk.
Right.
And I had too much to drink that time. Or whatever the fuck.
And if you search Twitter, it still shows up, in the Play Store. It shows up, but it shows up as X under the new X Corp, which includes Vine.
I mean, sure.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, Vine died a long time ago. The fact that it's showing up at all is hilarious.
Died on the Vine.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's super dumb. Functionally, the app is the same as it ever was. Everything still works. Everything's still in the same place. The only difference is it says fucking X at the top. And it's now called posts. Until they change whatever the fuck retweets called.
I mean, reposts? Shares?
Yeah, I guess. Reshare, repost. I feel like it would have to be something like cross share.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's fucking dumb and it's useless and it's stupid. No. I don't know. It's just fucking dumb.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like
it doesn't seem like it was thought out. It seems like in the way it was even rolled out by Elon
the
Musk
fact that
himself.
retweet's still in the fucking app
that
is like what?
There was no marketing push on this. It was kind of like some fever dream tweet from Elon Musk himself that says, "What if I name this thing X?" And you look at the replies of that, and it's overwhelming. Like, why would you do that? And then, like a day or so later, yeah, this is the logo. And again, the numerous replies going, "This is a bad idea." And then you wake up today and you go, "No, it's X now." No marketing push. No, this is the next generation.
It has to be a stunt.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be a fucking stunt. So we're all fucking pissed off. We're all fucking talking about it.
App stores, and he had to like that. That doesn't like you can't just, hey Apple, we change the name. Like that's a process.
Yeah. It will require a new app.
Uh-huh.
Because the app that updated still says Twitter. Yes, it's got the. This has to be a marketing fucking thing.
It has to be.
It has to be.
But it's Musk, so it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't. And lest history never forget Elon's mistakes, he tried to change the name of PayPal to X before he eventually was ousted from that company.
He can't let go of his X, huh?
Clearly. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. Doesn't make any sense.
No.
Fucking dumb. And we spent a bunch of time talking about it. So maybe his plan's working. I don't fucking know.
Right. but we're laughing at him. Like that's it. And again, the overwhelming response for everyone I've heard on this is just like, the fuck?
So. Did you see the one where it was a meme, but it's like true now, but it was the it was like the 4 or however many letters it takes to spell out. They had it on their app screen, then it spelled out gay sex from the logos of the different apps. And I think Threads was like the A, and it was just like,
gotcha.
And then they're like, "Oh, thanks for the update to the app screen. I can finally make it funny or something, Elon." And it's like, what the fuck? Oh my goodness. And the other thing that's been being laughed about in my Xenoblade community, if you look up Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Is it the same X?
Which is the game. Oh yeah. Look up that X. I hope to fuck Nintendo with their vicious lawyers are like, nuh-uh.
Okay. It's not the same X.
It's close enough.
No, it's not. It's on a
and
different
for that matter,
leg.
Xbox. And for that matter, all the porn sites. Fucking Christ. And also, if all of your companies are called X,
SpaceX, yeah.
What? Like, so if you're at a meeting Tesla, with people,
but what they did have the Model X, right?
Yeah,
but it's not Tesla.
It's going to be Xla,
right? Or just X, car X.
Look at it this way: what if there's a meeting in the future where Elon Musk is like, "Yeah, X is going to be going into space soon, but don't forget, we have the new rollout from X for the Model XY." And X is doing really good in the ad space.
Apparently, this fucker never did geometry because we're always hoping to. We're always trying to solve X.
Oh my Lord! And honestly, if he loves X so fucking much,
if you love your X so much,
why doesn't he fucking change his name to like X?
Why doesn't he have Grimes change her name to X, and then it can be his XX when she leaves him for all this?
This is Xing ridiculous.
Yes.
So dumb.
Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of the Fork in Your X podcast.
Nope. Get out.
The X in your ear?
Oh my god. The podcast title is probably going to be something like
Solve for X? Yeah.
X aliens or Exenheimer, Xeno Exenheimer,
Barbexheimer,
Xeno Exen Barbieheimer, Xeno Barbenheimer,
Barbexheimer,
X. I don't know.
He's Tim. I'm Nate. You can find us on X at our respective handles.
For now. Absolutely ridiculous.
Get forked?
Get X'd. And we out.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.
How about now?
I'm just messing with you. I was muted.
Not fucking funny. Not fucking funny.
Okay.
Okay, well, this is going to be really annoying for me. I don't know how to fix this. Actually, I guess I could just do this. I'm just going to do that. I'm so loud in my left ear for some reason.
Oh, gotcha. And you can't adjust the monitor at this point without possibly breaking everything?
Fuck. I failed to do some research.
Okay.
God. So hopefully this recording goes well and smoothly. It's actually doing correct things.
No, I mean, you're coming through pretty good on this end, so you'll at least have...
But you said that last time, and it was less great in post. So we'll see.
Well, no. Your track was less great in post.
Yeah. I know.
Right. No, I'm saying I've got a local here.
I know.
Worst case. We want to.
I tried to use your local last time. I was still getting whatever from it. Anyway.
Yeah. We're not going to need that this time. This is going to go swimmingly. Swimmingly. Knock on Formica or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Well, and that 17 minutes of hell is over with. I pulled the driver 3 times. Put it back in 3 times. I did 2 restarts.
You know, if you shake it 3 times, you're playing with it.
And then I did a shut off, hey, resistors and resistors, take a chill pill from your electricity. I'm back on. Fucking. Anyways.
Yeah. Are you looking at it sideways? Like, please stay lit?
No, because of where the mic is now. Like, this part of my screen is like blocked by the mic.
Oh, is that where I'm at?
No, you're like here.
Okay.
But I was trying to get the Discord up.
Right. Yay, multiple monitors.
Sure. I'll get fucking right on that, Nate.
I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying it's nice to have that.
Technically, once upon a time when I was on the laptop, I used the laptop monitor plus this monitor.
Yes. I use
multiple monitors.
this monitor, and the TV directly above it as a third.
Yeah. Well. Alrighty, let's fucking start the show before anything else goes wrong.
Yeah, you were all bright and early, ready to go, and now we're 20 minutes freaking late already.
I was chilled. I put some ice on my fucking shoulder.
Have you libated?
I have libation.
Brown drink?
No, clear drink of the H2O variety.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm of the red drink.
Oh, the red drink.
Yes, in a classy, container.
A blue solo cup.
A blue solo cup. A blue clear solo cup.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, I hear children screaming. Yay. All right. And 3.
You do something about that?
No. 2.
2.
1.
1.
Cut in.
Cut in.
All right. Pop.
Yay!